Hi there, it's Miss Flowers. Thanks for dropping by. You just caught me right in the middle of planning my next moves in my patio garden. And by the way, I want to let you know that if you've been thinking about starting a patio garden, it may not be too late, especially if you live in Zone 8B like I do, and some other zones that are a little bit further north or south. These zones all have an extended growing season, meaning you can plant and harvest a bit longer than some other zones where it freezes sooner. Now, in this video, you can watch me as I research and plan what I want to grow in my late summer fall garden. Now, based on what I've read, I should start planting in July, August, and September. Usually during that time of year, we're looking at growing brassicas like broccoli, cabbage, bok choy, mustard greens, turnips, and collards. I'm also looking at planting leafy greens like spinach. Now, if I plant them from seed during these months, they'll be ready before the first frost happens, which is usually around the first week of November for us. Once I finalize which plants I want to plant and when, I can map out a plan to get it done. But first, let's take a look at the Old Farmer's Almanac to double check the planting date ranges. And after that, I'm going to take you along with me in the garden as I mix up and apply a DIY pest repellent. Now remember, when you do your search, to add Old Farmer's Almanac. Nothing against these people, but they're not who I'm looking for. Now on this page, which is the planting calendar, you're going to want to put your zip code in there so that you can find out what the actual planting calendar is for your zip code. Everybody's planning calendar is going to be a little bit different. Well, maybe even a lot different, I should say. But for our purposes in this video, we will be looking at the planning calendar for my zip code, specifically fall. Now, the article is going to kind of go into detail about the fact that when they say fall, they really mean planting in the summer in time for a fall harvest. And it kind of gives you an idea about when you can start your seeds in order to get your fall harvest. And they do this in a chart. Now, since we're in fall, it's going to tell you when you can start your seeds outdoors, if you can transplant them. Some things don't transplant well, the maturity date, and what the frost tolerance is. Frost hardy can withstand freezing. Tender is sensitive to frost and cold. Tolerant can tolerate some frost or cold. I'll drop a link in the description so you can look up your information and get started. Hello, it's Miss Flowers, and we are in Miss Flowers' kitchen. So today I am going to make a bug repellent or a pest repellent, and I'm going to be using peppermint Castile soap. This is Dr. Bronner's version. I think you can get any different brand you want because remember, nobody is sponsoring Miss Flowers. I bought this with my own cash. A spray bottle of some sort. At least for this, we're making about a quart of the solution. Of course, you can reduce the recipe down to the size for whatever bottle you have. This is cinnamon and this is distilled water. So I'm not going to go through the whole thing as far as like letting you watch while I put it together. But all you have to do is just remember you will take 1 quart of this distilled water, of course, put it in your spray bottle, to 1 tablespoon of the peppermint Castile soap. You can use plain Castile soap and add your own peppermint drops, I think about 20 per quart. And then 1/4 of a teaspoon, the teeniest, tiniest little bit of cinnamon. I think they listed cinnamon, garlic, and one other thing, which I can't remember, but I think cinnamon and peppermint pair together well as far as my taste go.
And if it repels insects, all the better. So I'll see you back in the garden when I get ready to apply it.
Okay, okay, we're out in the garden now, and I have my pest control repellent. I'm going to spray it on the top part of the leaves and let you watch as I do that. And then I'm going to go under the bottom and we'll see how this goes. Editing Miss Flowers here. Looks like we're going to have a bit of a malfunction with this spray bottle. I'll tell you about it later. For now, we're going to move on. So after that little malfunction, I let the bottle sit for a little bit and then it started back working again. And it's probably a function of the fact that there's a little bit of um, soapiness, which is creating suds, and it, is probably causing the bottle to stop being able to spray out properly. And I'm thinking that might have happened with any other bottle. I do know that when I was reading the recipe for this, they did say try not to shake it up too much. And I really did try not to shake it up too much. But because I had that cinnamon in it, I had to make sure the cinnamon was completely, dissolved into the solution. So the problem with that is, though, it creates suds. So I don't know if it's this particular bottle or if it's any bottle that I would have used. I don't know. We'll see. I'll keep this bottle until I'm finished with this solution, and then I'll try another bottle and see if that makes any difference. So that's it for today. This is Miss Flowers signing off. And I want to invite you guys to please consider following the channel, subscribing, liking, doing all the things to help support the channel. Definitely comment because I will respond back to you. Trust me, I enjoy a good, robust conversation in comments. Thanks and see you next time.